Everyone's always asking the same question. Who's stronger, Mihawk or Shanks? But here's the thing. In the final saga of One Piece, that debate might not even matter anymore. Why? Because Oda is quietly rewriting the rules of strength itself. The Yonko, the Admirals, even the legends we've been arguing about for decades, they might all be getting knocked down a tier. Welcome to the era of the strong. And I'm going to explain why this is Oda's way of resetting the power scale of One Piece. Think about it. For years, power in One Piece has always been layered. Devil fruits, physical ability, strategy, and of course, Haki. But in Wano, Kaido said the quiet part out loud. Haki transcends all. And that line wasn't just his own philosophy, but it was Oda foreshadowing a shift. And on Elbaf, that's exactly what we're seeing. Characters like Scopogaban straight up tell us that the God's Knights can only be hurt by advanced Conqueror's Haki. Now that's insane. It's not just him flexing, but it's Oda telling us that if you don't have kingly will at the absolute highest level, then you don't even get to sit at the table in the final war. Now that's a soft reset. Characters we've spent years hyping up as top tier, such as some of Blackbeard's commanders, or even some commanders from the Revolutionary Army for that matter, they might suddenly find themselves sliding into the mid-tier status because their current toolkit just doesn't work against these new monsters. Now the real question is, why would Oda risk resetting his own power system so late in the story? Here's the answer. Scale. He's promised for years that the final war will make Marineford look like a playground scrap, and to deliver on that promise, he needs to escalate the battlefield. And the only way to escalate it meaningfully is to narrow down the pool of who truly matters. Think about Marineford. Every faction had a powerhouse, but it still felt like a team brawl. The final saga? It's mythological. This isn't chess anymore, it's Ragnarok. The gods, Imu, the Gorosei, the God's Knights, they're stepping onto the stage. And to fight gods, you don't just need power, you need divine will. And Oda is setting up a story where Haki, especially Conquerors, is becoming the equivalent of divinity, and the spark that separates men from legends. Pah, that quote was sick. And here's where it gets really fascinating. Oda's always pulled from Norse and Greek mythology. Elbaf is a stand-in for Norse giants. And in Norse myth, Ragnarok isn't won by brute strength alone. It's a war of fates, where willpower, prophecy, and chosen champions decide everything. And that lines up perfectly. The era of the strong isn't just about muscles or flashy fruits anymore. It's about who can impose their will on the world. And Luffy's Nika form isn't just a goofy cartoon power. It's freedom incarnate. The counter to Imu's domination. And that's why this reset is really essential. Oda isn't writing a battle manga anymore, he's writing a myth. So who rises and who falls in this new order? Rises, Luffy, obviously, Zoro, Shanks, Mihawk, anyone whose Conqueror's Haki is legendary. And these are the fighters perfectly tuned for the new era. Shanks versus Mihawk, that fight suddenly matters less for its outcome and more as a symbolic clash of who truly embodies kingly will. And the losers are of course the fruit-reliant fighters without proven advanced Haki. I mean, imagine Kizaru's lightspeed meaning nothing against someone who can shrug off or regenerate through it. Or imagine Blackbeard's hacks being terrifying but ultimately useless if he can't enforce it with supreme will. Although after the recent chapter, that probably might change. But this is where controversy comes in. For years, fans have put certain characters in the top tier box, but if Oda is resetting the battlefield, then your favourite Admiral or Yonko commander might actually be mid-tier in the final war. And here's the genius of it. Oda isn't going to time skip us through this. He's going to show us the reset. Elbaf is the crucible, and giants like Dory and Broggy are already demonstrating raw power that dwarfs fleets, and the God's Knights are showing abilities that defy conventional logic. And Luffy right now, he's being forced to break through to the next level of Conqueror's Haki. Not in a training arc, but in the heat of a battle. And this is Oda's way of saying, the rules are different now, survive here, and you're worthy of the final war. Fail, and you are relevant. Sorry kid. So here's my take. The era of the strong isn't just a story beat, It's a hidden power reset. It's Oda's way of clearing the stage so only the absolute strongest wills remain. And if that's true, then the age-old debates, Mihawk versus Shanks, Admirals versus Yonkos, might not even matter anymore. Because the real question isn't who's stronger right now, it's who can survive the reset. So let me ask you this. If Oda is really rewriting the rules of strength, who do you think will be standing at the very end? Aside from Luffy, Blackbeard, etc. Now don't get me wrong. Legends like Mihawk, Shanks and the Admirals aren't just going to disappear because of this shift. These are still icons of the old era, and Oda has always portrayed them as the very peak of strength. They will absolutely survive this reset. But survival doesn't always mean dominance. Take Whitebeard for example. I mean, the man was still the world's strongest even in his old age. Yet Marineford showed us how the new era could eclipse him. He mattered, but in a different way. And I think that's what Oda is doing here. Yes, the likes of Shanks and Mihawk will remain crucial figures, but their fight and their presence might no longer decide the future of this world. Instead, they'll be measuring sticks that prove whether the next generation, Luffy, Zoro, even the giants of Elbaf, truly belong in the era of the strong. And maybe, just maybe, some names we thought untouchable won't make it through. And if we're being real, not everyone from the current top tier is going to make it through the reset untouched. If I had to put a name out there, Kizaru feels like one of the most likely candidates. He's been built up as this untouchable lightspeed monster ever since Sabaody, but Egghead already showed us cracks in that image. No pun intended. His loyalty isn't to ambition, like Akainu, or even to ideals like Fujitora. His loyalty is to orders, to the system itself. And when that system finally collapses, what place is there for someone like Kizaru? In many ways, he embodies the old god of obedience, which makes him the perfect tragic casualty of the new era. If Oda really wants to show that this reset is real, a shocking fall like Kizaru's would do it. So to wrap it all up, we're entering what I would call the era of the strong, but maybe not in the way most people think. It's not just about who's the strongest right now, it's about who can evolve and who can step into a new role as the world itself resets. Shanks, Mihawk, the Admirals, they'll survive, but as guardians of the old world rather than the ones shaping the new. And maybe the characters Oda has kept in the shadows are the ones who will surprise us the most. Think about Mad Monkey Rouge, the man who laughed off Kaido's suicide dive, and the only supernova we know, bar Luffy, who actually toppled a Sweet Commander. Yet he's been deliberately sidelined since. Oda doesn't waste setups like that. In a new era where unpredictability defines power, a wildcard like Iruj could step in as a real player. If Oda is really pulling the trigger on this reset, then One Piece isn't just about the Pirate King anymore. It's about proving who truly belongs in the next age of monsters. I mean, of course the Pirate King still matters, but you know what I mean, I hope. And yeah, I know, it's been like a year since I last uploaded. I promise I wasn't trapped in Impel Down or lost on Laugh Tale. I've just been busy moving houses and dealing with the real life grand line that we call bills. But I'm back now and I'm going to be dropping way more One Piece content, especially now that my setup is complete. So if you enjoyed this theory/discussion, then make sure to hit that subscribe button because we've only just set sail. And yeah, peace.